Have you ever noticed how your mind creates stories that haven't even happened, yet you feel the fear as if they're already real? You lie in bed at night, your body still, but your mind is racing, endlessly rehearsing every worst-case scenario, as though your thoughts have the power to predict your future. But here's the truth. What if I told you that worry is a liar? It doesn't protect you, it paralyzes you. It wraps you in a web of fear that keeps you stuck, unable to move forward, unable to enjoy the present moment. Buddhism doesn't teach you to fight your worry, it teaches you to see through it, understanding that most of what we fear will never come to pass. In today's video, we're going to explore 7 powerful lessons from Buddhist wisdom that will teach you how to stop worrying and start truly living a life of peace and clarity. Because peace isn't found in a perfect life, it's found in a trained mind that knows how to navigate the storm no matter what life throws its way. 1. Name the beast to tame it. To conquer worry, you must first confront it. This means identifying exactly what it is. Buddhism teaches us that our thoughts and emotions are not as chaotic and uncontrollable as they seem. Often, worry thrives in the shadow of uncertainty. It's the unknown, the fear of what could happen, that makes it feel so overpowering. When we don't name our worries, they grow, shape-shifting into something monstrous and terrifying in our minds. But when we give them a name, they lose their power over us. Worry is like a beast in the dark. When you don't face it, it roams freely in your mind, feeding on your fears and uncertainties. But when you bring it into the light, when you name the beast, you begin to see that it's not as formidable as it seemed. Whether it's fear of failure, anxiety about the future, or doubt about your abilities, when you name it, you take away its mystery and allow yourself to understand it. Once you understand something, you can manage it. The power of naming is that it forces you to stop and reflect. Instead of letting the worry take control, you pause and break it down. You give yourself the space to ask, what am I really afraid of? Is this worry based on something real, or is it just an illusion in my mind? Naming the worry gives you control over it. It's no longer an overwhelming force. It's just a thought, and thoughts are something you can change. Practice. The next time you feel a wave of worry coming over you, take a deep breath. Pause for a moment and identify what you're really afraid of. Ask yourself, what is the source of this anxiety? Is it a fear of failure, rejection, or something else? By labeling it, you break its grip and bring clarity to the situation. Once named, you'll find that worry becomes much more manageable, and you can begin to take the steps to address it. 2. Don't believe every thought you think. Not every thought that enters your mind is truth, and not every worry that surfaces is justified. In Buddhism, we are taught that our thoughts are fleeting and often not based on reality. The mind is a constant stream of ideas, images, and beliefs, many of which are not grounded in facts. Yet, we have a tendency to believe everything we think, as if our thoughts are indisputable truths. This is where worry takes root. When we believe every fearful thought, we start to live as if those thoughts are already real, giving them the power to control us. The truth is, most of the worries we experience are either exaggerated or completely unfounded. The mind tends to focus on the worst-case scenario, amplifying the negative while ignoring the more probable outcomes. For example, you might think, what if I fail? Logically, what if people reject me? Or, what if everything goes wrong? But the reality is, failure doesn't define you. Rejection is just part of life, and not everything will go wrong. These are just stories the mind tells, stories you don't have to believe. In Buddhism, we are encouraged to practice mindfulness and awareness, which helps us separate ourselves from our thoughts. Instead of getting caught up in the worry, We observe the thought as it is, just a thought. It doesn't need to be acted on or believed. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. Thoughts come and go like clouds in the sky, but they don't have to dictate your actions or your emotional state. Practice. The next time you catch yourself spiraling into worry, take a step back. Ask yourself, is this thought true? Do I have evidence to support it? Challenge the negative thought. For instance, if you think, I'm going to fail, ask yourself, have I failed before? What did I learn from it? You'll see that most of your worries are exaggerated or based on assumptions rather than reality. By questioning and challenging your thoughts, you stop believing in them and reclaim control over your mind. 3. Do what you can, then let go. In life, we often find ourselves consumed by worry about things beyond our control, whether it's the outcome of a project, the reactions of others, or events we can't influence. We tend to stress over every little detail. But Buddhism teaches us the importance of distinguishing between what we can control and what we can't. In the face of uncertainty, the best thing we can do is take purposeful action toward what's within our control and then let go of the rest. The truth is, there's no point in worrying about what you can't change. Worrying about the future or about things outside your reach doesn't change the outcome. It only drains your energy and keeps you in a state of anxiety. Instead, Buddhism encourages us to focus on the present moment and the actions we can take right now. Once you've done everything within your power, you must release the need to control the outcome. Take a moment to consider, when you worry about something that's beyond your control, is it helping you? No, it's only adding unnecessary stress. The act of letting go doesn't mean you're abandoning responsibility. It means you are trusting that what will happen, regardless of your anxious thoughts. Practice. The next time you find yourself worrying about something, ask yourself, what can I do right now to improve this situation? Focus on those actions, whether it's taking one small step or making a decision. Once you've done what you can, let it go. Trust that the future will unfold as it should, and recognize that worrying about it won't change a thing. By letting go of the outcome, you free yourself from the mental weight of anxiety. 4. Create a worry ritual, then move on. One of the most effective ways to manage worry is by giving it a designated time and space in your life. Worry is a natural part of the human experience, but when we allow it to take over, it can dominate our thoughts and consume us. Buddhism teaches us to approach our worries with awareness and structure. Instead of letting them creep into every moment, we can create a specific worry ritual, a set time during the day when we allow ourselves to focus on our fears, but only for a limited period. Once that time is up, we move on. The idea behind a worry ritual is to set boundaries around your anxiety. We often feel like we must solve every problem or fear immediately, and when we can't, the worry grows larger. But by setting aside time to focus on your worries, you are acknowledging them without letting them take over your life. This ritual helps you compartmentalize your fears, preventing them from spiraling into endless, uncontrolled thoughts. It gives you a sense of control and lets you take back your mental space. Imagine this. You decide to dedicate just 10 minutes each day as your worry time. During this period, you write down your worries, reflect on them, and even allow yourself to mentally process what you're feeling. But once the 10 minutes are up, you commit to moving on. The ritual's power lies in the structure. It teaches your mind that worry is not something to be engaged with endlessly, but something that has a specific time to exist, after which it must be let go. By creating a worry ritual, you begin to train your mind to recognize that worry doesn't need to occupy your thoughts all day. You teach yourself that it's okay to have fears, but those fears don't need to control you. You can acknowledge them, process them, and then shift your focus to something more productive and peaceful. Practice. Set aside a specific time each day, even just 10 to 15 minutes, where you can focus solely on your worries. Write them down, think about them, and let yourself fully feel the anxiety in that time. Once your worry ritual is over, mentally declare, "This is done for today." Move on and shift your focus to something else, something that brings you peace or joy. With time, you'll find that this ritual reduces the power that worry holds over you, and you can start living more fully in the present moment. 5. Movement kills mental static. Have you ever noticed how, when you're trapped in worry, your mind can feel like a static-filled radio, buzzing, spinning, and overwhelmed by a million conflicting thoughts? The more you sit with your worries, the more your mind becomes consumed with fear and doubt. The constant churn of thoughts keeps you from finding any sense of clarity or peace. It's almost like the mind becomes congested, a cluttered space where you can't think straight or feel at ease. But Buddhism offers a powerful solution: movement. When you're caught in the web of worry, it's easy to feel stuck. Physically, you might find yourself tense and still, as if the weight of the world is bearing down on you. Mentally, your thoughts are trapped in a loop of what-ifs, growing larger and louder the more you focus on them. But physical movement, especially when done mindfully, can break this cycle. It disrupts the static, releasing the tension and allowing the mind to return to stillness. Movement is a form of mindfulness in action. Just as meditation helps quiet the mind, so does physical activity. When we engage in movement, whether it's going for a run, walking, practicing yoga, or even doing light stretching, we force the body and the mind to focus on something other than the worries consuming us. This physical focus becomes a form of grounding. As you move, you're brought back to your senses. Your thoughts shift away from the anxiety of the future or the regret of the past and into the present moment. You're now aware of your breath, the rhythm of your body, and the natural sensations that accompany movement. Buddhism teaches us that the body and mind are deeply interconnected. When our bodies are stagnant and tense, our minds follow suit, becoming rigid and stressed. But when we introduce movement into our lives, we encourage the flow of energy, helping to release tension, not just in the body, but also in the mind. Movement brings balance, creating harmony between body and mind. It's an act of releasing built-up energy, allowing the mental fog of worry to clear. Think of movement as a reset button for your mind. It's not just about exercising or stretching. It's about creating a shift in focus, a shift in energy, a shift in mindset. Even simple actions like walking, dancing, or breathing exercises can interrupt the negative loop of worry. When you start moving, you give your body and mind a chance to recalibrate. You change the internal environment of stress into one of peace and clarity. The benefits of movement extend beyond just the physical release. As you move, your mind becomes more attuned to the present moment. Whether you're walking through nature or practicing yoga, the external world starts to merge with your internal state. You begin to feel the peace of the environment, the stillness of your breath, and the gentle calm that comes from focusing on the present. This is the essence of mindfulness, being fully present and aware without judgment, without attachment, and without the weight of worry. Movement can be as simple as walking, or it can involve more intentional practices like Tai Chi or yoga, which combine physical movement with mental focus. These practices help align the body and mind, guiding you into a state of calm awareness. But even if you're not engaging in formal meditation or exercise, moving your body in any way, stretching, standing, dancing, can disrupt the static in your mind. Practice. The next time you find yourself overwhelmed by worry, try taking a step back and moving your body. Start with a simple walk outside. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Breathe in the fresh air and notice the sensations in your body. Or practice a few gentle stretches, paying attention to the release of tension in your muscles. As you move, let go of the worries that are clouding your mind. Focus on your breath, the rhythm of your movements, and the present moment. With regular practice, you'll find that movement becomes a powerful tool to clear mental static, restore balance, and bring you back to a state of peace and clarity. 6. Feed your mind. Peace, not panic. Our minds are like gardens. What we plant and nurture will grow. If we fill our minds with negativity, fear, and anxiety, those seeds will sprout into full-blown worries. On the other hand, if we choose to nourish our minds with peace, calm, and positivity, we create a mental environment that allows serenity to thrive. This is a fundamental concept in Buddhism, where we are reminded that our mental state is a reflection of what we feed it. What you consume mentally affects your emotional and physical state, so it's crucial to be intentional about what you allow into your mind. Worry thrives on negative thinking. It begins with a small seed, a thought that something could go wrong, and without intervention, it quickly multiplies, growing out of proportion. The more you dwell on fearful or anxious thoughts, the stronger they become. It's like feeding your mind a constant stream of panic and tension, causing your emotional state to spiral. But what if we stopped feeding our minds with panic and started offering them peace instead? Buddhism teaches us the importance of mindfulness, being aware of what is happening in the present moment, and choosing what to focus on. In the same way, we are taught to be mindful of the thoughts we allow to occupy our mental space. Just as we wouldn't put rotten food in our bodies, we should avoid filling our minds with harmful, negative, and fear-based thoughts. The idea is to feed your mind with nourishing, calming, and constructive thoughts that cultivate peace instead of panic. What you feed your mind is what you become. If you continuously expose yourself to media, conversations, or situations that trigger anxiety and fear, your mental state will become increasingly unstable. On the other hand, if you focus on consuming content that promotes tranquility, positivity, and spiritual growth, your mind will reflect that peace. The practice of mindful consumption goes beyond just what you watch or listen to. It also includes the internal dialogue you have with yourself. How often do you berate yourself with worries about the future? How frequently do you tell yourself that you're not good enough or that things will go wrong? These negative thoughts are like mental junk food. They offer no nourishment and only leave you feeling depleted and anxious. But just as we learn to avoid unhealthy foods for the body, we must also learn to avoid unhealthy thoughts for the mind. Feeding your mind peace doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending that everything is perfect. It means choosing to focus on the things that bring you calm, gratitude, and wisdom. It means taking time each day to meditate, engage in positive self-talk, read uplifting content, or listen to calming music. By practicing mindfulness and being intentional about your mental input, you can reshape your inner landscape into one of peace, not panic. Practice. Start by noticing what you're feeding your mind each day. Pay attention to the media you consume, the conversations you engage in, and the thoughts you allow to dominate your mind. Are they contributing to your peace, or are they adding fuel to your worries? Gradually shift your focus toward content that uplifts you. Read books that inspire you. Listen to podcasts that promote mindfulness, and surround yourself with people who encourage calm and positivity. Additionally, begin a daily practice of positive affirmations. Replace negative self-talk with words that reinforce your inner strength and peace. Remind yourself, I am capable of handling whatever comes my way, or I choose peace over worry today. By feeding your mind peace instead of panic, you start to create a mental environment where calm and clarity can flourish. 7. You've survived 100% of your worst days. There's a powerful truth that often goes unnoticed in our anxious minds. You've already survived every difficult moment you've ever faced. Think about it. Every time you've been overwhelmed with worry, fear, or doubt in the past, you made it through. Every challenge, every hardship, every difficult circumstance that felt impossible to endure, you made it through. And yet, despite this proven track record of survival, we continue to let worry grip us as if the future holds something we can't handle. In Buddhism, there is a deep awareness of impermanence, that everything, whether good or bad, is only temporary. Difficult times arrive, but they also pass. The fear of facing something in the future can feel overwhelming, and the thought of suffering can seem so intense that we forget the strength we already hold inside us. We spend so much time thinking about the what-ifs of the future that we often overlook the resilience we've shown in the past. Worry convinces us that we're not strong enough, not capable enough, or not prepared for the challenges ahead. But when we pause and look back at everything we've already gone through, we see how much we've grown, how much we've already faced and overcome. The fear you feel today is a sign that you've faced fear before, and you'll face it again. But this time, you'll face it with even more strength, because now you know you can get through it. Buddhism teaches us to stay with the present moment and accept the changing nature of life. Every worry you feel is just that, a moment that will pass. In the bigger picture of life, the worries you carry today won't stay forever. It's important to remember that, just like the problems you've faced before, the ones that come in the future will also pass. What truly matters is trusting your own resilience and understanding that worry doesn't help you. You've already shown that you have the strength to get through hard times. When we remind ourselves that we've made it through every tough day so far, it helps us see the present more clearly. The fear of tomorrow feels less scary because we've already walked through challenges and come out stronger. Your strength lies in your ability to keep going. Every problem and every struggle has helped shape you for what's to come. Your past wins are proof that you can face whatever comes next. Make it a practice. The next time you feel overwhelmed with worry, pause and think about all the tough moments you've already lived through and overcome. Write them down, whether they were major struggles or smaller moments of fear. They all contribute to your ability to keep going. When you remind yourself of your resilience, you start to see your worries for what they really are: temporary, passing, and not as strong as they seem. Take a moment to reflect on the strength you've built over time. Picture yourself going through your hardest moments and coming out stronger on the other side. This simple act of looking back and realizing how much you've overcome can give you the courage to face whatever lies ahead. You've made it through 100% of your toughest days, and that alone is proof that you can handle whatever comes next. With this awareness, worry becomes less about fearing what's ahead and more about trusting in your ability to deal with whatever life brings. You are stronger than you realize, and you've already shown that you can survive even the most difficult days. So the next time worry starts to take over, remind yourself of the victories you've had before and let that strength guide you forward. Handling worry isn't about getting rid of it completely. It's about understanding it, seeing it differently, and choosing not to let it take charge of your life. With the wisdom of Buddhism, we've learned that worry doesn't have to freeze us. Instead, we can train our minds to face it with calm, strength, and clarity. When we name our worries, we take away their power. When we question the thoughts we have, we free ourselves from fears that aren't real. When we focus on what we can control and release what we can't, we start to feel lighter. We create a small ritual for our worries, allowing them some space. And then we let them go. Through movement, we shake off the mental noise, and by feeding our minds with peace instead of panic, we build a quiet strength within. And maybe most importantly, we remember that we've already made it through every hard moment in life, showing that we do have the strength to face whatever the future brings. So the next time you find yourself stuck in worry, remember this: you already have the tools to get through it. You have the power to choose peace. The future may be uncertain, but you've already shown that you can face whatever it brings. It's time to stop worrying and begin truly living. Peace is already within you. It's just waiting for you to welcome it. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mindful lessons on living with peace and clarity. Until next time, take a deep breath, believe in yourself, and let it all go.